Yo, what's going on, everyone? What up, what up? It's your girl, Miss DJ Hoodie, also known as Audra Alquenva, and you guys are listening to another Why Run Podcast live episode on panel. We got Just Rob. What up, babe?
Hey, baby.
Hey.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, we kind of got on kind of late,
Mm,
but it's okay, right?
yes, it's okay.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Like an hour ago, I was laying in bed playing catch, right? And I was like, do I want to do a show or not? See, that procrastination was starting to get to me. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Like, I felt tired. Like, right now, my eyes feel heavy. Like that pressure that you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm feeling right now.
Show's over, people go home.
Right. No, don't go anywhere.
And cut.
No. No.
That's the kind of day we've been having.
Word. Yeah.
Weird,
Yeah, you know, I mean, you guys already know most of my bad days. I speak about my bad days.
yeah.
But Rob doesn't really have bad days. He has a lot more better days than I do.
No.
Yeah, you do.
I try and make my bad days good days, but it's not always possible.
I'm curious, what is a bad day for you other than your delivery being late? Like,
It's a year late.
right? Like, no, that's. I have a lot of bad days. That would be a bad day for me.
Yeah. No, I think for me, a bad day is when one thing happens and it's like, okay, I could get over one thing, but then things just start stacking up and it's all day. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Like, what's a bad day? Like, is a bad day like a bad hair day? Or like what's a bad day? Like for Rob.
For me, okay. Well, okay, now or when I was single? It depends.
Does it really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
No, honestly, when I was single, I can't really say that I had bad days unless I was like, I don't know, had a nightmare and then things were just like going wrong. But no, there's really nothing that I would be like, oh, today was a bad day, unless like something happened to someone that I'm close with. Then I would be like, man, that sucks. Kind of ruined my day. If it's something that I can't help someone with, then it's like, oh, fuck. I'm no good.
Well, I guess
like
you
today-
say that because... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it's probably that way for you because you don't really get angry. Like, it takes a lot for you to get upset. That's why it's like, I can think of a lot of bad days or things that could make a bad day. But like for you, you're just, I guess it's like more specific. And I'm guessing maybe like an argument with somebody that you're in a relationship with.
Yeah, that's
But
why I
as a
said it,
single
you know,
person,
Yeah, as a single person, it would have to have them like, I don't know, canceled plans, and then like my burger fell on the floor. Or, you know,
see,
I
now
hate
we're
wasting
getting
food.
somewhere.
Yeah, like I would drop my fries and shit. I'm like, man, oh man, let me drop a pork chop and it's over. Day's over. I'm going to bed. Fuck this day.
Right.
But as being with someone or now being married, it's like, yeah, having an argument that's the start of a bad day.
Yeah,
And it has to be like, for me, like you said, I don't really get mad, or I try and look at the bright side of things. So even if something bothers me, I'm just like, okay, is there really something worth throwing the whole entire day away for. And if it's not, then usually I get over it fast. If not, then I'm just like, okay, well, it has to be like I said, kind of stacks up that plus something else, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. It's not gonna work. But then, yeah, when the delivery didn't come through, and then they called me, and my phone was lit up, and it started dying. My phone just started dying, and I'm like, man, really? What else can happen?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, geez, I mean, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of bad days, and I do feel like it's I mean, when you first wake up and you're like getting ready to like start your day, I mean, it could be like the most simplest things, like not working out, you know, unless it's like, okay, if there was like little things that don't go right, like say that you spent 10 minutes looking for your shoes, right? Or you forgot to throw your clothes in a dryer and your clothes are still wet. You know, like it's little things like that you don't think is going to escalate into a bad day. But unless you leave that house, which would be in most cases for me, like people, I just noticed more people cutting me off, and I haven't even driven 5 miles yet. You know, and then it's like, okay, let's say you get pulled over by a cop, or, you know, you're waiting longer, or, you know, like just things just seem to happen back to back. And then you just kind of sit back in your whip and you're just kind of like, fuck, I shouldn't have knew that today was a bad fucking day because I couldn't find my shoes. My clothes are wet. Like, my ass is still wet. You know, like you didn't even give it a chance to dry off, and then you got pulled over, and, you know, it's just... Yeah, like, and you guys know the how my days can go, and those to me are considered a bad day. Yeah, they're like little things that kind of build up, and then it just gets to the point where I just explode, and it's like, I gotta turn on the podcast. I have to talk about this shit. Oh my gosh. And then on top of that, like, you know, it's getting sick during, like, before you get there or during your shift, and then it's like, oh, guess what, the person wasn't there to receive the package. You have to drive all the way back 40 miles to take that one package back to the warehouse. That's a bad day. Oh, and guess what, payday was landed on a holiday. That's a bad day. Yeah, then you start feeling like you're being attacked.
The day is attacking me. Not the day, Satan. No, I don't know. Maybe it's because, like I said, I try and look at the bright side of things, and I try not to let one thing ruin my entire day. But yeah, things do build up, and I know, like, I don't know if you've ever seen that meme where there's two guys. I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's an animation, and the guy's sitting on the bus, and on one side it's all dark and gloomy and sad and depressed, and the other side is all sunny and bright, and, you know, the guy's all smiling and shit. And it's like, it all depends on how you look at life. Have you ever seen it?
No.
I'll try and find it and send it to you, but I don't know, I guess even when bad things happen, or what someone else would think is a bad thing, I try and turn it around, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to focus on that. Or, like I said, if it's something that I can fix or help someone fix, then I'll do it. But if I can't, I'll try and let it go. But yeah, today was just one thing on top of another, and then it just kind of kept escalating, and I was like, man, I've been waiting for this damn Tumblr for that specific, not that specific one, but that style. I've been looking for something like that for like a year, and I was like, all right, cool. I found it yesterday. I bought it. It said a day delivery, and I was like, all right, and nope. I was waiting to make my water so that I could drink it cold, ice cold, but no.
Oh my god.
It ain't gonna happen. It's okay. I'll get it tomorrow, maybe.
Oh my god. See, like, I have to be honest, I never look on the bright side of things when it comes to myself, but when it comes to other people, yeah, I'm really good at coming up with solutions to kind of like make them see the brighter side of things. But when it's my day, my bullshit, I don't see any bright side of shit unless the sun sets. The sun has to set for the whole day to just, like reset itself. Like legit, like I'm just like, dude, like 2 more hours till sunset and I'm good. The planet has to set. You say what?
Why? Because the sun sets and then the day is almost over. Is that why you feel better?
I think so, because today was one of those days for me, and now that the sun set, like I'm just drained. But I do feel better. Yeah,
I'm glad you feel better.
Are you gonna write that down on that list of when you know my Shark Week?
Yes. Yes. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some shades or something super dark and be like, there, babe, the sunset, and it's like midday. That's how I'm gonna cheer you up on bad days.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, or give me one of those eye covers. Well, I have booty cheek for that because it covers my eyes.
Just gonna blindfold you.
Yes. Anyway, before I get carried away. But legit, man, like I really like when it could be before noon and I'm just really feeling in a bad mood, or I'm just feeling like things aren't working out. Just I'm a very angry person, like I really am. I don't have patience. I expect things to be like ready for me all the time. I can't wait. And honestly, I don't know what my hurry is. To be honest, like it's just like I expect too much. I expect things to just go my way, and if it doesn't, like, yeah, I do get pissed. I do depending on Shark Week, I do get very emotional. And yeah, it's the end of the month, so babe, what does the journal say? What does my spreadsheet say?
Get ready for the first.
Yes. And yeah, I can never find the good things to turn it around. I just can't. I literally wait until midnight. And then it's like, okay, new day. It's midnight. It's 12:05 in the morning. McDonald's. Yes. Or Jack in the Box.
Have you ever noticed, like when you're running late, if you jump in your car and you're like speeding, everything goes wrong. People cut you off, or you get pulled over, you get a flat tire, you run out of gas, like all these things that go wrong. But if, okay, you're running late, but you take your time, you're patient, you get there, you're still gonna get there late. What's the point of rushing out, right? It seems like things just kind of get out of your way. You might even make it on time.
Word.
I know, for me, it
works that way. Yeah.
It's always been that way for me, so I guess that's why I do have patience. Man, give me a bag of like sunflower seeds, something to drink, and music, and I'm good. I could be in a traffic jam for fucking 3 days and I'd still be good as long as I have those things. People are like, no, you got too many. You're too chill, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I can't. Let me tell you guys, Rob has, okay, I'm almost like a brand new woman with Rob because he chills me the fuck out so bad, like so much. And it's yeah, like I notice that the way that I think, like I'm trying to give myself some leniency. Like he tells me all the time, don't be hard on yourself. And there's certain things that I could give myself that strong discipline, but also trying to forgive myself as well, which I feel like I hardly have ever done. And honestly, I feel like I cry more. Like I've always cried. You guys know that I've always cried. I've cried on cast lots of times before me and Rob really started talking. But I noticed that, like, I feel so comfortable with Rob. I tell him everything. It's literally one of those moments where it's like, oh, I feel like I can tell you everything. But it's not a feeling. It's like I really do share so much, maybe even too much, and it is vice versa. Like we kind of overshare to each other, and emotions get come into play and things like that, and we talk about it, which I love. I love that. But with Rob, I say everything. And when I'm having a bad day, and it's kind of like he allows me to rage, he allows me to get angry, he allows me to throw fit, like all of those things. But what I really love is that he doesn't leave me alone unless I really want to. And most of the time I don't. I don't want him to leave, and I don't make him leave. And we talk about it, or I talk about it, and he knows that when I'm saying these things, I'm not asking for a solution. I'm not looking at him to fix it. I just want him to just listen to me. And he does exactly that. And sometimes I don't ask for his input, and he never gives it to me. But he'll be like, well, if you wanted to know, this is what I'm thinking, and it's just, I think that's very healthy for us. I'm not saying that all relationships you're doing it wrong if you don't do it this way, but I do think that it could help. Yes. And Rob, he literally changes my mood. It may not change the day, but when that comes, I know that I can crawl into his arms and just be like, okay, baby, I'm done with the day. It's 5 o'clock at night. I don't want to deal with shit. And he makes it okay. He makes it okay. Like, you know what? You don't have to go on with the rest of the day. Just like, let's just chill. Let's watch a movie.
I kind of want to talk about what happened today, since we're talking about our day and how things can escalate and get a little bit out of control. Mm-hmm. To where sometimes we have to step back and be like, okay, what the hell is actually happening? Is it really a bad day, or am I just making it worse? Or do I just make it worse in my head? Because like today, right, we were talking, and I started talking about my past, and you felt like I just kind of threw that at you, like I didn't really warn you about it, which I understand, because when people are telling me stuff, I'm visualizing it, I'm seeing things. And I know in our case, when we do talk, we are doing just that. We're visualizing what the other person is saying. And so I did kind of throw you into that, and without giving you a warning, or much of a warning. So that's where it kind of started. It wasn't, I don't know, and even though, yes, I noticed it and I saw it, like, it happened. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to overreact, and I'm not going to let this, like, continue the bad day. Even though things, even for you, right, when you were telling me about, like, the cartridge and stuff like that, I was like, damn, that's not good. And then another thing, and then another thing. But still, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to let it get to me until after we talk. Because we had to get off the phone, and, there kind of was a little misunderstanding. And remember, other things happened, right? That disappointment that I had today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but I mean, at the time, I kind of did do that. I was like, I'm not gonna let that get to me. But then, not too long ago, I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, that's another person that that I'm not gonna trust. That it is a disappointment because I held this person up, like I thought more of them than I guess they're showing me. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm used to it at the same time, but I wanted to trust that person. So I'm just like, okay, that's another person that I can't talk to, or I guess tell things I would like to say, but I have to deal with that. Like I said at the time, I kind of told myself like, oh, that's not important. It doesn't bother me, but it did. So that's another thing that I added to this. I was gonna say God-forsaken day, but now I'm still trying to look at it like the bright side of things. But one thing did lead to another, and it kind of just kept piling up. But until you and I did talk again, when we connected again, and we expressed how that conversation ended, and it was like, okay, this is what happened, and it was a misunderstanding, and we did talk. We did have the communication. You allowed me to tell you how I felt. And yes, all this shit sounds sappy, but it helps. Trust me. For people out there that are like, man, this is some fucking soap opera shit. Like, no, it helps. Trust me. That's why we're where we are. Because we do talk. And it does, even if in the moment you don't feel like it's doing anything for you or it's not fixing anything, it really is. Being able to have the freedom to talk to the person that you're with and then have the understanding from them, to me, that's big.
Mm-hmm.
Insert article. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the thing that I like is that we don't have screamy matches. I'm glad that we actually talk and we don't blame each other. We try to better explain what we mean. The things that we say, how it was meant. And yeah, like just being completely like open and honest. Like, and a lot of people have watered that shit down. That shit just seems like that ain't shit, but it is. Like, you have to be open with each other. Like, it's like when we have a disagreement, it's like we're not against each other. That's the feeling that I like, is that we have a disagreement, a misunderstanding, and I would rather have that than to be against each other. And our disagreements are never like too extreme. Have they gotten there? Nearly. It nearly got there, but I like how we were strong enough to stop in mid of it and just being like, yo, like, let's just stop for a moment. Let's just stop for a few seconds. Like, give me a few minutes. And the thing that I also like is that we're not trying to rush off the phone, because when that happens, I feel like things get worse, because you're not only sitting in your own thoughts, because when you're sitting in your own thoughts, like your mind just goes bonkers. Like you don't know what to think, and your mind will take you to the worst of things, and when you get to that point, you feel like you're armoring up yourself for the worst, for like you're expecting everything to just fall apart and be like you actually put yourself to the end, like almost putting your whole relationship on the line, and it probably wasn't, I don't want to say not as serious, but it's things that could be fixed if they were just expressed, listened to, and you take action on fixing it together.
I'm glad you said that. While we're having our discussions, or I don't see, when I say argument, to me an argument is a screaming match, and it is things that I've been through before. And with you, I don't feel like it's gotten to that, and I don't think it ever will. But we have a disagreement. It is, and it does feel like it's still you and me versus whatever the disagreement was. It's not you versus me because of the problem, and that's something that I've never had. And I don't know if I've told you that before, but it is refreshing to have that. That's always what I've said before. I'm like, dude, why are we fighting each other when it's something else? It's an outside interference, and let's focus on, like, it is you and me versus the issue. It's not you versus me because of the issue. And I think because we keep that in focus, then we can have those kind of discussions, and we can keep in mind like who you're talking to. When you have screaming matches and you're just like, yeah, well, fuck you, and it escalates and it gets to a point where sometimes you can't come back from that. Like I told you, I never want to call you out of your name. I never want to scream at you or yell at you or offend you or hurt you. Like, if we're having a disagreement about something, my intention isn't to hurt you. It's to fix the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, with you, it doesn't seem hard to remember who I'm talking to. With other people, because they start attacking, because they're like, oh, well, you said this and you did that, and remember, like, 2015 when this happened, and it's like, yeah, you've been holding this shit in since then. Like, tell me when it's happening. Tell me when you feel a certain way. But because you and I don't have that, we're not there. Like I said, it is refreshing, and I appreciate that we can have a discussion. Again, it sounds sappy and shit, like, some kind of soap opera shit. Like, it's not realistic. And because you've talked about your past relationship where it's gotten physical, and in my past relationships, it hasn't. Maybe one time it got physical, like I got hit a couple times. But like I said, in the moment, I didn't even realize that I was in what people would call an abusive relationship. But we've been there separately, but we've been there, and I don't ever want to be there with you. I'm glad that we can have an open discussion about whatever is bothering us.
Yes. One thing I wanted to, I don't know if I want to ask you or like just say, but you know how we were saying like, okay, we're both spiritual people. We were appointed these abilities with these special gifts. And you were the one that said it to me first. First of all, I would never place myself before or ahead of God. And you said, yo, I'm going to choose God, like always. Like don't make me choose. Or how did you say it?
I said, God is above everyone, including myself. So, to me, it would be God, myself, and then everyone else. In this case, you, and then my family. Before you, it was God, myself, and then my family. So, because remember, and I think we did say that, we're like, oh, I love you with or you're. It was something like you mean the world to me. You're my world, or something like that. And I was like, it sounds like we're putting each other above our beliefs and above God. So I was like, and remember that's when we started kind of having issues. We're kind of arguing. And I was like, well, not arguing, but disagreeing about stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. I feel like it's because we did put ourselves, or I put you above God, and you put me above your beliefs. Then that's when we started having those issues. It's like we need to refocus. And ever since then, it's been that way for me.
Let me interrupt and say, because we're talking about this, I don't want you guys to get it twisted that it was like a full-blown argument or a disagreement. I think during that time, like while we were going through that, this was what I was thinking. I didn't think that that's what we were doing at all. Because it's almost like, all right, obviously the world and the universe is pretty much God's, or Masau's, that's obviously his, right? Like his universe, his world. But for me, I was looking at it like our own world. Like, because when I say my universe, I'm talking about like inside my body, like that's, our, what would people call it? Like the chakra, or, like the center of your body. So for me, it's like, I feel like that's the only thing that's mine. Like that's the only thing that I can control. It's just the feelings, the thoughts, my doings, the good doings, the wrong doings, everything is within myself. And I think that was really hard to explain to you, because like, our minds think alike, but I think we do have disagreements. Like I do think we talk longer to understand each other. So when I say something, he may hear it different, or when he says something, I feel like I hear it different. Or when I try to express something or say something, it does come out wrong. And that's where things kind of fall apart. And then I feel like most of the time, and I even realize this in my own podcast, sometimes I feel like I say things over and over and over again. Like I say the same thing. And I felt like that's what it sounds like to him, but it's I know what I mean, but it don't come out right, or he's not hearing it, or he doesn't understand it. But what I'm trying to say is that when we have those kinds of disagreements or misunderstandings, like I like the fact that we don't give up on hearing each other, or we don't give up on each other to understand each other. And I think, like what you were saying, that's why we've lasted this long. And for us, it feels like years, and it's just been months.
And not like, oh my God, it's been 10 years, and it's been like 2 months. Not like it's drawn out or horrible. It's so horrible that it feels like it's been 20 years. So, I think it was when we were saying like, oh, you're my world, my soul is yours. That's when I was like, okay, there's a reason why we're having these issues, is because, and this was like early on. So for people that are thinking like, oh shit, they've been through shit, like this was early on when we were not just getting to know each other, but we still had people in our lives that were in a way interfering. And
wait. Speaking of that, I remembered why I brought up God and Masao, but I'll let you finish and then I'll go.
Okay, well, don't forget it then.
I'm talking to you.
I forgot. Well, that's why that's what I was saying. Like, I noticed that it was when we were talking. Like, okay, for when you talk, the universe is listening. It's almost like you're manifesting. So anything that you say, it's gonna happen. And when you start talking about, or when we start talking about, like, oh, you are my everything. You are above everyone. So the universe is like, okay, well then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna just give you what you're asking for. You're asking for just this person, which is fine, right? But because we have abilities and we have responsibilities to the spiritual realm, we can't do that. That's like basic people shit. That's what people tell their significant other when they're like, "Oh, you're my everything," and they don't actually mean you are my everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I told you, when we started doing that, we were like, "Oh, you're my soul," and like I give you my soul. And we were like, "Wait a minute," because then we started having problems, and I was like, "That's the message that I got." I was like, "We're manifesting ourselves into like this one bubble where it's just me and you, and even if we do want it to be just me and you, because we have these responsibilities to the other side, the spiritual side, we can't just be me and you. It has to be me, you, and God. Our belief, like we have to have a higher power above not just myself for me, but you, and it has to be the same way for you. And that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not like these other people that are like, well, how are you gonna put your beliefs over me? It has to be you or me first, you, and then your beliefs. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's why I told you. And I know where you got that from. That was from the movie where the guy was like, if you come between me and God, it's over.
Actually, no. It was because when we would talk about our previous relationships, I know that I told you that my ex has stripped me of, all of my passions. And obviously, one of my, not passions, but part of my identity was spirituality. And because I was so focused on him and trying to get his life in order, get things going for him so that I can continue. That never happened. I noticed that I stopped praying. I stopped feeding, things like that. But the reason why I was wanting to ask you that, and you kind of just said it just now, my question was, first of all, have you ever said that to anyone that you said that to me? Have you ever said that to your exes in the past?
Which specific part? Because
God comes before everyone, including you.
No.
You've never said that to anyone before.
I've never told anyone like God comes first.
But okay, did they know it though?
No, the people that I've had in my life haven't been spiritual. Remember how I was telling you that that's part of the reason why I feel like I was trying to hold on to that last situation, because I wanted it to be a spiritual thing. And not only did I want it to be that, I felt like it was, and then I was told that it was. So that's why I was holding on so tight to that, because I didn't want to lose. I felt like that was the first time I had the spiritual part in a friendship or relationship. So,
okay.
But it's almost like saying, "Oh, I got these Beat headphones and they're knockoffs. It's not the real thing." But you're not gonna know that until you get like the actual beats and you're listening to them. You're like, "Oh shit, these are like the real legit shit." So that's what happened when I met you. I was like, okay, I wanted it to be that, but it wasn't. This is the real thing, and I knew that from the beginning. And I don't know why I said that. There was something that I was going to talk about.
Well, no, I was still asking Okay, well, first of all, I feel some type of way because you came at me like, nah, like, this is how it's gonna be. These are my beliefs and they go before. No, I'm just kidding. But
But, oh shit! I thought you were serious. I was
no,
about to get into
no,
it.
no.
I was
Excuse
gonna
me
say,
on the
you know,
live cast?
hey, let's
You're
do it. Why not?
crazy. Okay, first of all, I would have cut this bitch off a long time ago, okay? And second of all, no, like it's just because I don't know. Okay, if you had said that, I don't think your relationships would have went the way that it did, because I don't want to say like it was like the discipline or that you would have scared them to death, or make they would probably be looking at you like what they called back, from that movie that we watched that you just talked about, or that you just mentioned, like a Jesus freak, right?
Yeah.
So, and I had to say that because I don't want anyone coming after me for saying Jesus freak. But my whole thing is that if you had went to your exes in the very beginning of those relationships, maybe things wouldn't have gone that far the way that it did, because maybe it would have maybe inspired them to be better, or treat people better, and like not try to scam and fucking lie and manipulate, and have those, they would have fixed their narcissistic behavior. They probably would have wanted to get help. You guys probably could have prayed together, or like just things like that. If not those things, not treat you like shit, like not talk to you in the ways that they were talking to you. And I know, like, when we had talked, you said that you were kind of responsible because you allowed them to treat you like that. But I just think it was just the love and the forgiveness that you had for them, because you really did love them. Like, you really did care about them. And then this is how they ended up fucking you over. And they're still out there trying to blacken your name. I mean, let's just be real. But I think that because when you said it to me, I was just kind of like, excuse me? Like, you really think that I would put myself above and ahead of your beliefs? But I know why you said it, though. Because I feel the same way. It was just kind of like, yeah, I was kind of offended, not because you said it to me, but now I know that I was the only one that you said it to and you didn't say it to them. But I would think that a normal person would be mad that how is it that you never told them but you're telling me, and those bitches got away with it and I won't. But that's a crooked way of thinking. But the way that I was thinking it was that I don't ever want you to think that I would do that. That was the only thing that I got offended by when you said it to me, because it was just like, no, of course not. Of course I wouldn't put myself above anything greater. I feel like God has many names, but for me it's just like I would never put myself above any higher being. Like, that's crazy, but people do think this way.
Let me explain why. Because you remember how in the beginning, and this is something that we've talked about just in general, not just us, but in general, sometimes people don't know what they want. So by me telling you what I didn't tell them was me almost like setting a boundary. It wasn't that I needed to say it to you specifically because you didn't understand. It was me saying it out loud was because we had said other things out loud. So it was like almost manifesting it. Like, I'm telling the universe and I'm telling God, like, God is above everyone, including myself, including the people that I love. And like I told you, if God was to come and tell me, like, I need you to come, leave everything behind, come with me, I'm leaving. I'm not staying here. I know what the purpose is, and I know who's above, who's leading me. So the reason why I told you versus telling other people was because I know what I want, and I know what the mission is, and I know who I want by my side, and that's why I was saying it to you specifically, because I wanted you to know, like, it's me and you, but I have a leader. I'm following someone, and again, it wasn't that I felt like, oh, I need to tell her, like, set her straight, like she's not gonna come between me and God. It was like I had to speak that into existence. I had to let the spiritual world, like, I haven't lost, because I found the love of my life. I haven't lost my purpose. I know what the mission is, like I said, and I'm still here and I'm still doing it. Like, this isn't a setback. This is gonna help me. Now I found someone to walk this path with me, which I never had before. The people that I've messed with before either didn't believe in a higher power, or weren't disciplined enough to follow their own beliefs. Like, they put anything, that other things above their beliefs. And I think by now everybody, including you, know, like, God comes first. Like I said, if I have to stop everything that I'm doing because I've set myself a time to go to God and have that conversation, or that me time with God, people have to respect that. But if I don't vocalize that, if I don't tell people, like, hey, at 3 p.m., I don't care what's going on, I'm going to leave because I got something to do, then they're never going to know that. They're not going to respect it. But I'm setting that boundary. I'm setting that I have to do something at a certain time, or whatever it is. So I'm telling you, this is how it's going to be. So if later down the line something happens and you're like, well, you never told me just how spiritual you were, or you never told me just how much of a follower of anything you were. I guess that's the reason why I said it. It wasn't because I felt like, oh, I need to put her in her place. Like, no. And again, I know my place in your life, and I know that I'm not first, and I'm okay with that. That's why I told you, like, don't put me first. You have to put yourself first. You have to put above you, it should be your higher power, your belief. And that's just how it was for me.
I think in my case, my beliefs is that we're supposed to be, well, when I say we, I'm talking like, my people, like the chiefs and the people of medicine. Like, we're supposed to be for the people. We're not supposed to want for ourselves. We're supposed to do for everyone. Not so much as us putting ourselves last, but in my culture, we do have certain positions. And I know I told you about this, but, for the sake of the cast, I'll briefly explain that, there's some people in this world that are leaders. There's people in this world that are healers, like Rob and I. There's people that are protectors. There's, positions that are, I would say, a lot more darker, warriors, things like that. And you have to kind of know your place. You gotta, whatever you was appointed to do, by your clan, your godfather, your godmother, that's what you're supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to represent. So for me, I don't think putting myself first is in my position unless it's going to war. Of course, I'm not going to allow anyone to treat me like shit or beat me. But, obviously in modern world, in modern society, you get into shitty relationships, you just fall victim to that shit, right? You just allow these shitheads to do whatever the fuck they want with you. And that's where I said I lost who I was. I felt like I couldn't continue being who I was appointed, the role with my ex. Like, I felt like he was totally disrespecting it, and I knew that it pissed me off, but it was just kind of like, oh, well, I love him, what are you gonna do? Like, it was like I was giving him passes, right? And so it's not just that where it's like, you know what, I can't put myself first. Him, he's over and done with, right? But to put myself ahead of people because of my position, not just as a healer, but as a protector, as a warrior, I have to put people ahead of me unless I'm going to war for my people, for the people, and for Masao. I'm supposed to do for them. So if someone's attacking me, then of course I'm going to put myself first. That's probably the only time is when I need to defend myself. That's the only time I feel that, yeah, I'm putting myself first. So when I say, like, oh, you're my world, you're my everything, I do mean that. In this life, yes, you are. Because one, that would be, I'm not going back to a modern shitty person and put them ahead and, ahead of the world, ahead of the universe, ahead of Masao. I would never make that mistake again. I just thought that I would have gotten respected, or my culture would be accepted and respected. But it wasn't. It made shit worse. Because to people, Native Americans aren't shit. But that's a whole different topic. But in the spiritual world, I know Masao knows what I mean when I say it. It's of no disrespect to him, because what he cares about is I better do what he says he needs me to do. What he's appointed to me, I better just do it. It's not when I say you're my world, you're my universe, you have my soul. Yeah, in this world, but when it's my time to go, he has it. And he's gonna look back and be like, did you do everything that I asked you to do? That's the only thing that he wants, is for us to do what he chose us for. That's the only thing that we owe him, at least in my beliefs. I'm not saying this on everyone else's, but I feel like I can't put myself first. That's why I said I'm very hard to do things for myself. Like, I will never get out of bed for myself. For someone else, yes, I will get out of bed. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and people would be like, oh, you're depressed. No, not really. I already done everything. I've already, I've just kind of done it all. Like, I know how to do a lot of things. I'm just not worth whatever. Like, especially in a modern life, of course, everyone don't want to get up and do a job that they don't want to do. So you can't tell me that that's depression. I just straight up fucking don't want to do it. But spiritually, I'm not enough to do things for, unless it's for Masao, unless it's for the spirit, unless it's for the entities in my life. And of course, my family. Of course, I move for them. The reason why I move is to prove to them that I can do it. But I feel like I do fuck up more times than a few. And I'm trying my hardest to correct that.
I guess to put it in perspective, or give you an example of what I meant when I said put your higher power above not just yourself but me, is if myself came to you and said, I need you to do this, drop everything you're doing, come do this. I mean, I would hope that you would tell me, like, okay, let's say I needed to go somewhere at the same exact time. I would hope that you would be like, okay, I have to do something else. I can't take you right now. I can't focus on what you need right now. There's something I need to do. The importance that you give what needs to be done, like, there's no way that I would ever expect you to be like, I can't do the spiritual work right now. I have to go do something else. So that's what I meant. And putting yourself above my needs is just that. Saying I can't do this for you right now. I have to go do something else. You are putting yourself, your needs, because you need to go do that. You need to go take care of that. So other people, shitty people, wouldn't understand that. They'd be like, no, I need this done and you're going to help me do it. You're going to be there for me right now because this is what I need. Those are selfish people that don't care about you putting your beliefs first and putting yourself first. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Because you have to kind of put yourself first. And I think I always mention this, like the whole airplane and putting the oxygen mask on yourself, is you can't help other people if you're dead. You can't help other people if you're not taking care of yourself first. So I wouldn't expect you to leave what you need to get done to take care of my stuff.
See, that's where modern life fucks with me. Is because, you know, obviously this modern life, you know, living in a city, it does take me away from doing my purpose. That's why I said if I had all my shitty stuff in order, you know, in this modern life, I could be able to do all the things that I need to do to help people, because, you know, I'm really peque right now. I'm really rotten right now. And it's what society has done to me. It's all this, you know, and like I said, you know, I feel like, you know, I haven't fucked with my ex in a while, and I want to leave that piece of shit there. But I feel like now it's been a year. I feel like now I can't really blame him anymore because I'm here now. So it's like, okay, just maybe you should stop talking about him. And you're still having these problems, but it's no longer his fault anymore, almost. You know, yeah, he did contribute to the bullshit and contribute to the situation that I'm in right now. But for me, it's like I have to fix it. And I feel like I can't, and it's not right. It's not right to have a healer that is going through bullshit, that is, you know, physically sick, physically unable to, let's say, take care of themselves, you know. And you can't heal people when you're like that, because you are spreading your sicknesses. So for me, it's like I can't touch anything yet. I can't really help people until I feel and I am tip top, you know. And of course, doing the Why Run podcast, I do want to talk about those things. You know, I guess that's why we do go into my Twitter feed. We go on to YouTube Shorts. And, you know, it is showing you guys perspective. That's why I think for me, I can touch on deep subjects. And it is just a discussion. It is just a topic. But for me, if I were to really go in, it's a totally different conversation. And that's something that I strive to do, because it is what Masao has appointed me to do. I'm supposed to do this in this way. I can't baby you. I can't baby talk you. It's almost no forgiveness because, and I've talked about this before. There was a woman that was like, oh, so your God is mean. Your God is this. Your God is that. And it's like, no, my God is fair. He's not going to baby people that purposely do dumb shit and just because they show up at a church, they're just showing up. Like, and that's supposed to make their image look good. And oh yes, you're going through the pearly gates just by showing up. Like, you got to do more than that. And it's just this whole thing. But I have to get myself right. I have to get myself corrected. And our relationship, I'm glad that we have that understanding. Not just a modern, we don't have a modern relationship, right? We're just in it. Like, it's just around us. But for us, our relationship is very much spiritual. We have a lot of acknowledgement from each other. We do talk. We do try to understand. Yeah, we have disagreements, but it's only because we're trying to understand. Again, you say things one way, but it comes out another way. But it's like, yo, I'm feeling offended. And it's like, why? Well, because you said it this way. And when you said it this way, this is how I felt. Oh, okay. Let's talk about it. Let me correct it. Or no, that's not what I meant. This was what I meant. So it is, chiefs, healers, we're supposed to spend hours talking. We're supposed to spend not just hours, but days, weeks, talking and discussing and, not arguing, but finding solutions, not just within each other, but within our communities, within the world. And that's why I wanted Rob to come into the Why Run podcast, because I do believe that he is my match. He is a very, very special person with special abilities. He was appointed a very important job, a very special gift. And I can't have these conversations. I mean, sure, I can have them by myself. I've done it for years. But to have someone so focused and so dedicated and so willing and has so much faith and has so much solutions, and he's within the box and he thinks outside the box. Like, he knows the ins and outs due to what he spiritually sees and his experiences. And it's not that he's going out searching for it. It just presents itself to him. And it is, I guess, analyzing people, but at the same time, these are people that are pretty much coming forth, not just telling him how they are, but they're showing it. And sometimes they're two totally different things, but it does result into, okay, you're a liar. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
But it's a discussions that we have, that this is what I gather of him. This is how, like, I've analyzed him as much as I could, because obviously I can't read from him. And if you guys tuned into other Why Run episodes, you guys would know that I can't read the people that I could have a relationship with. So that means that I cannot read Rob. I can't read him. Other people that I'm not meant to be with, I could read them just like that. But people that I could possibly continue a modern life, I guess I can't read them. But that would cost me my spiritual abilities. Just like with my ex, yeah, we could belong together, but that's the parts of people that I could see that they could be. They're the ones that just fight it. But with Rob, it's not just the modern side of him, it's the spiritual side. And it's so damn strong. And I don't think he realizes how strong he is.
I've been in your universe, remember?
Yes.
I was like, damn, okay. There has been, from the beginning, connections, building connections too. It wasn't just instant. There was like one connection where it was like, because again, we've known each other for what, like 2 years now, almost 2 years. Like known of each other. We've known of each other for longer than we've been together, and so there was always something drawing me back to you. And yes, it was a friendship, and yes, it was. It wasn't even a deep friendship. It wasn't like you and I were there's like sharing secrets or anything. We hardly even messaged each other, but when we did, it meant something. When you crossed my mind and I would message you, it meant something. The same thing when you would hit me up, or you would send me stuff, and or I would see your art or anything that had to do with you. It was different. It was like, okay, there's something there, and I had no idea about like the spiritual side. This was even before I knew how to read people, or what I was seeing was actually a vision. It wasn't just my imagination. So I kind of lost where I was going with this, but when you said that I don't know how strong I am, or it is, I don't, because I have no experience with it. This is the first time that I've fully accepted it, because I've always known that I had abilities and that I could see things in people, or not in people, but read things in people, I guess. And my dreams aren't always just dreams; they're visions. I get messages in my dreams. So I've accepted that, and then having the freedom to talk to you about, like you said, we do talk for hours and hours, and we analyze and we break things down, and we kind of just fix things, not just for ourselves but for other people. It's the first time that I'm able to do that. It's the first time that I've had a connection with someone that I can't do that with, and you see the same things that I'm seeing. Like when I'm telling you the things that I'm seeing, you're confirming it. And that's another thing that I've never had. I've never had someone to confirm things for me. It's always been like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might be right. Sometimes things would happen and like I was predicting things for them, and when it would happen, they didn't tell me. It would come out like, I don't know, years later or months later. Like, oh, remember that one time you told me about that? Yeah, you were right. It's like, you could have fucking told me this. I needed it. Because then I started doubting myself. I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say anything. Maybe I shouldn't be talking. Maybe the messages that I'm receiving, I'm supposed to keep that to myself. So it is almost a waste, because you have, let's just say you had a crystal ball and you could see the future, but you cover it up and it's like, what the fuck is the point? It's just a ball at that point. But being able to explore that and doing it with you, even though you, in the beginning, you were, I don't want to say too serious, but you were way more serious than I was. You take things like you're straightforward, and you're like, this is how it's supposed to be, and this is what it is. And I was like, well, yeah, but maybe. And then I kind of feel like that I don't know if you've loosened up or opened up to the way that I work. Because yes, I do take what you say serious, and I do see it. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's a different way to get there. Maybe we could get there easier and faster if we just do this. And that's the conversations that you and I have, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And we do try, um, you know, things about me that no one else does. And I can honestly say that you've been places with me that no one else has been, and you've let me into your world. You've taken me places where I've never been before. And I mean, this whole show is gonna sound like we're just bigging each other up and like it's a love fest, but
like
that's
it's fake.
kind of what the huh?
Like it's fake. Like no one gets along that well. No one loves each other that much.
Right. But that's why I said, like, yeah, we have days where maybe we're not reading each other, or we are, but we're not talking about it. Like I said, communication is key for people like us. We do need to talk about everything and try and understand. Like I try and understand everything that you're telling me. Sometimes, and again, it wasn't that I didn't have this. I just didn't accept it. I didn't accept it before, so I don't know how to use it all the time. So when you tell me things and you're like, you see what I'm seeing, and I'm like, no. It's like, you know how strong it is for me, and I think sometimes you expect me to just be like, oh yeah, I see what you're seeing, and just instantly connect to it, but shit, my brain is all over the place. I'm like, ooh, squirrel. That type of shit. I'm listening to music or whatever it is in my head and shit, but you do help me focus on certain things too. To me, it's not that I don't take it serious. I try and make it fun because it is fun for me. And it's gotten way easier for us, I think, in my opinion, since I feel like you kind of did accept the way that I work. You're like, okay, I'm just going to let him ramble on. I had one question, but now I have 1,000 questions because you won't shut up.
Okay, well, let me tell you. You're right. I was very, I don't want to say uptight. Well, maybe I was. Okay, I'll say no. I was uptight, and I'll tell you why. And yes, I'm always serious when it comes to spiritual stuff. I was uptight because of the people that you surrounded. That surrounded you, and that's the thing that it's really hard for me to explain, but that I read people, and just by a name, just by their photo, even though the photo is not of their face, like let's say it's an animation or something like that, I see the person through the photo. And it's and I've known these people for a couple years. We've known them for a couple years, right? And for me, it was like, okay, it wasn't so much of people trying to come forward to be like, yo, this is who he really is, or oh, you're fucking with him, and stuff like that. It had really nothing to do with that. It was that, okay, we both knew that things were gonna change within our circles, I guess, right? And I was already seeing things, like people that were close to you, like the closest to you, like everybody was just falling over like dominoes. And let me tell you guys, that wasn't me doing it, because for one, I made a promise to Masao that I would never interfere with what he has said. Okay? I would never take a life. I would never use my ability that he appointed to me to take a life, to ruin a life. That's not why he appointed it to me. Because that's his job. And everyone has their time. Why would I want to fuck with that? Because if I take a life, I have to give a life. That's the rules of spirituality, in case you didn't know. But for me, I saw how these people were going to act towards not just me, but with Rob. So when he, accepted, he accepted who he was, and, he knew what he wanted, and, we were talking about a lot of spiritual stuff. That's what I saw on him. As far as, and I know I said I can't read him, but I can read the people around him. See, that's, I have my little loopholes on reading Rob. So if I can't read him, guess what? I'm going to read everyone that's around him. And that includes family members. That includes motherfuckers at the grocery store. So with that being said, I knew that these people were going to, back off, stray away, talk their bullshit, talk about him, blacken his name, a lot of assumptions. And they're not kind. And it was really hard for me to tell you that. Because every time you would have conversations with I'm still gonna call them your friends, because I don't want them to attack you, like, yo, is you talking shit about me? I heard the White Rant podcast. Like, it's stupid, but they can't deny that those things, that they did participate in those conversations, right? So when you went on innocently talking like, oh, I heard from so-and-so today. Oh, okay. Oh, guess who I heard from today? Oh, okay. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, okay, well, you guys are friends, just as long as they treat you good. As long as they treat you okay, and they treat you with respect. I don't give a fuck how they treat me. I already know these people. I already know how they are and how they move, the shit that they've said. I know what they think about me and my podcast. I know what they think about my topics. Like, I know these things. But it was you. And now look at what happened. Like, and it was so hard for me to tell you, like, you know what? Like, I know our relationship is very fresh. It's very new. But I'm telling you that, and this was something that I did not force upon Rob. I was just, because we got into like, what is marriage like in your culture, in your background? And we would go back and forth about like, in the Hopi culture, the men don't own anything, but the women do, and this is how a marriage is done, and so on and so forth. It was really hard to try to explain things that not only that he can understand, but hoping that he would be okay with. Because if he wasn't okay with it, then yeah, we wouldn't be here discussing these things, because and what I was trying to get to is, in my culture, it's only supposed to be husband and wife. You're not supposed to have any friends. Like, it's only supposed to be you two. You go off together to create a home, a life together. You're not supposed to include all of your friends. But see, in today's modern society, people are like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do and talk to who I want to talk to, hang out with whoever and go whenever the fuck I want. You can't. That's what a single person does. But you're married. Like you belong with that person. So how could I explain, like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. I'm okay with you having friends. Because for me, like, I'm a modern native. You know, I'm trying to make it in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna, you know, I love my people. I love my culture, tradition. But for me, it's like, yo, I don't want to have a grip on him this way, because I do feel like nowadays, you know, because especially our relationship was very new, I don't want to scare him off and be like, oh, babe, you can't have friends. If you want to be with me, you gotta say fuck all your friends. No. But I didn't know it was going to happen because I read them. So how can... Huh?
I just want to make it clear that she didn't badmouth anybody. So if anybody's listening to this and thinking, oh, see, I knew it. She made him change and she made him not talk to us anymore. Really sit there and think about who you're blaming, because the people that I don't talk to anymore was their doing. And if you're listening to this, you know damn well that I never stopped talking to you. You did things for me not to talk to you. Own that shit. Don't try and blame Audie. Don't try and make it seem like I changed and she's controlling who I talk to and who I don't. Because the one person that she knew was going to hurt me, I was going to say the most, but probably the second most, she never told me this is going to happen. She never told me stay away from that person. I think she had to let me just go through that. I had to see it for myself. And unfortunately, I had to see it with a lot of people because I'm what they call a golden retriever. I attract a lot of people. I'm a social person, so I do talk to everybody. And I used to say that these people were my friends. I can't say that anymore because they ruined that. They made it to the point where we don't talk anymore. And like I said, the one person or one of the people that hurt me the most when it came to that was there was no explanation. There was no goodbye. There was no conversation. There was nothing. It was just out of the blue, we stopped talking. And again, it had nothing to do with Audie. It wasn't her telling me, I don't want you talking to them, or it has to be just you and me. She didn't put that in my head. It wasn't her. If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself. Look at yourself. Look at how things ended between us, and just take responsibility for that shit. Don't be trying to blame that on her. Don't be trying to, be like, oh, see, I told you I was being controlled and I'm hypnotized. I've heard that shit before. I'm hypnotized by you and I don't see anyone else. Well, I just had to make that clear. It had nothing to do. She never said, I don't want you to talk to this person. She could have saved me the trouble, right? And I'm not going to say I wish you would have, because, again, I needed to see that for myself. It needed to happen the way that it did happen. But, yeah, I can already tell that someone's going to be like, see, I told you, it's her. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And I'm going to take it back to your disappointment from today that you initiated in the beginning of the cast.
Okay.
I really don't want to say I told you so, but for me, it's like I did tell you my reason about that person. And like that's what hurts, because what I tell people is, you think I want to be right all the time? It's like, prove me wrong. Like, literally, prove me wrong. Because I don't want to be right about these people. Like, I don't want to think that these people are really full of shit and they're liars and bullshitters and, all of these things. But when I come out right, it's like, man, that fucking sucks.
I think you want to be wrong, especially when it comes to this and the people that I had around me. You want to be wrong so bad because you know that it's going to hurt me.
Yes.
So you don't want to see me hurt. And I know that when you did, I guess, I can't even say that you warned me about this person because you didn't. Again, you've never badmouthed anybody. You've never told me, watch out for this person. You're like, just be careful. That's as much as you've told me. Like, just be careful. And I know it is because you don't want to see me get hurt, and I know that you know that I'm gonna get hurt because I do value these friendships or the people that I thought were my friends. But I'm not gonna dwell too much on it. Yes, I was disappointed. I don't even want to say that I was hurt because honestly, I wasn't. I wasn't hurt. I was disappointed because I didn't expect it from this person. But shit happens and people just grow apart sometimes, and I'm okay with that now. And again, it has nothing to do with your culture and the way you told me, like, it has to be, or it should be, just husband and wife. It has nothing to do with that because I think the people listening to this know me well enough to know that nobody's going to control me. Nobody's going to tell me what to do and who I can and can't talk to. So, again, I know that it hurts you when I'm hurt. And I know that that's the reason why you wanted it to work, I guess. You wanted for these people not to hurt me. But like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah, for me, I look at it like, man, shit, I'm not going to be the one to sabotage these friendships. And because it's like, as fucked up as it sounds, like, I'm just like, yo, I'm going to let them fuck it up. Like, I'm going to let them fuck up a friendship with a really good person. And it's not because we're together. It's just like, yo, that's just who they are. And for me, I just had to step back and just let it happen. And that's one thing that I don't like, unless it was happening to a shitty person. But this is happening to someone that I love and care for very deeply. Watching him go through a train wreck over and over and over. And that's hard to watch. Because for me, like, I think of like the impact it's gonna hurt him. And he's the one hurt in a train wreck, and these motherfuckers are walking away. No scar, nothing done to him. And so proud of themselves while Rob is hurt. See, like, that's the part that gets me angry. And I do hurt for him. And he says that he's fine. I know he is, but the scar is still there. And sometimes scars don't heal. You never forget how you got that scar. It's always a reminder. And people have the attitude of, you just got to get over it, or, oh, fuck that motherfucker. Like, man, that's not enough. And Rob can get very invested into people. That's one of the great things about having Rob as a friend. And none of these people value that. But see, Rob is just going to say, you know what, that's fine. I know he's telling the truth. I know he wouldn't lie, or he wouldn't just say it just to say it. But it's like, still, how dare you? How dare you think that's, how dare you call that a friendship? It's not. You're just being mean. You're being an asshole. But they're off over there. They got off their train. Nothing's done to them. And it's just like, man. And for you to receive and, that disappointment, that's one of the reasons why I got upset. That's one of the reasons why yeah, like I cry because it's just like, fuck, man, like these people really can't see you. Like you, they can't see you and what you gave them and be thankful for that. But that's the kind of world we're living in today. Those are the types of people they are. And if you're calling these people friends, well, then I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing for each other or with each other or doing to each other to be like, yo, I'm gonna hold it down for that friend. They're my peoples. And it's just like, man, okay, whatever the fuck you guys are doing for each other, that sounds like some shady fucking shit. But okay, if you guys want to call that friendships, but to us, like that's not a friendship. But if y'all want to run in those circles, all right.
I think because of what happened today, I'm starting to lean more towards adapting the theory of a friend of my enemy is my enemy.
Oh, word.
I have to look at it that way because things that I would have shared with this person, I can't share anymore because they're cool with someone that I'm not cool with anymore. Someone that fucking hates themselves. So why would I expect them to love other people when they hate themselves? And if you're gonna be cool with that person, then okay, be cool with them. Don't expect me to open up to you. And that's another reason why I used to hate it. Now I don't hate it as much. I used to hate that I couldn't open up to people. And maybe it was just myself kind of keeping myself in a safe place. Like, yeah, take your time. Don't fucking open up to this person because they're gonna hurt you. So I am slow at opening up with people. There's people that I've known for 2 years now, almost 3 years, and they still don't know shit about me. They've never even seen a picture. Now, I'm not trying to hide a picture from me. My shit's been on Discord for 2 years now. I think I had a picture on IG before. I think 2 people have seen that I've sent a picture to. So for people to be like, oh, you're just hiding, you don't want people to see you, that's not it. But again, I've known some people for 3 years and they don't even know what I look like. They don't know shit about me. They don't know about, my siblings and stuff. We're just, I don't know, I do consider them friends, but we're not, what's that one word? We're acquaintances. We're not friends. We're definitely not deep. It's just somebody that I'm cool with. And again, those are people that I'm not gonna open up to, and that's kind of fucked up. To feel like I invested 2 years into these people, and I'm sure they're listening to this, talking about like, are you talking about me? You know damn well who I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know. I don't fucking hate anybody, but I'm also not gonna give them the chance to hurt me again. And when you said about, it's like a train wreck, and I'm pretty much destroyed, and they're walking away scot free, no injuries, no nothing, because they don't care, and I have to understand that. I don't have a choice anymore. This fucking train is in pieces, and I'm just standing here looking at it and licking my wounds while they're walking away like nothing ever happened. And I have to accept it. And it wasn't until you said it, because you were actually describing how I felt. And I did get emotional, and not hurt, but emotional. Like, damn, I wanted at least one person that I could count on. At least one person from these last 2 or 3 years that I've invested in people that I could count on. And I know I'm saying that shit out loud, but I have you. So even though I'm losing them, I have you. So to me, it's not like a complete loss. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, I'm replacing them with you, or like it doesn't matter because I have you. But like I said, if I gained one person out of these 2 years that I've invested in these people, it's you. And I'll say it again. I'm fucking lucky. I'm the lucky one in this relationship to have you.
Oh, babe.
And now I'm gonna mute because I don't want to cry.
Aw,
So
baby.
rituals. Relationships and rituals.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, baby, that you had to go through all that mess, all those messes. And they know that they're a mess. And they still want to be that way. We know that they're still that way. And we just got to leave them right there. They're fine with where they're at. They don't want to change. They don't want to admit what they've done. Well, you'll never see an apology. You know, and I know you're okay with that. I'm okay with that because just look at where they're at.
Yeah.
But
And if I'm being completely honest right now, it's not even. I guess I'm not sad because it ended, or because like, okay, they showed me who they truly are. It's more like, damn, I thought we were friends enough for you to not feel alone or so alone that you would rather be around people that you don't even like. That you would be one of them. I thought you were different, but you're showing me that you're just like them. Like you'd rather be in a cesspool than to be alone. Then okay, that's why I said the disappointment came from, because I had higher expectations for this person, and they showed me like, instead of coming to me and being like, damn, I feel like I'm alone right now. Instead of coming to me as a friend and telling me like, I need someone to talk to, which I've told them many times, like, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. You could always hit me up. But instead of that, they'd rather run back to shit. Run back to shit. That's what it is. So you'd rather have a bunch of shit people around you than to value our friendship, then cool, then do that. And I hope it works out for you. And it makes me sad for them. I'm not sad for myself. I'm not sad because it didn't work out with that friendship. It's because, again, I held them to a higher standard. And that's where the disappointment comes from.
yeah, it's a lot of disappointment. And it's the crazy thing was that we were actively watching these things happen right in front of us. Like that was the crazy shit to me. Honestly. I mean,
To
I
me,
don't.
the crazy thing was, remember how I told you it's not that it's almost like things are just calling me to it. The reason why I find these things is because I'm following my instincts. My instincts told me, go check. I went and I checked. I saw what I saw. And it seems to happen all the time. Every time that my instincts tell me, go check, I do, and I find something. So it kind of feels like that fuck around, find out type shit, but in a good way. Because I'm saving myself, like I said. I could have opened up to this person. Thank God I didn't. And, it did cross my mind at some point to I guess, put them in a higher level of friendship. But I was like, something's keeping me from doing that. And now that I know what it is, now I'm cool with it. I can move on now. I know where to put them. I know where they belong. So it is me following my instincts. It is, people would be like, oh, it's a coincidence, but nah, I don't believe in coincidences. I definitely don't, it doesn't, one time maybe, but every single time I get a feeling that I should check up on something, and I check up and it's like, people fucking talking shit about me, or people assuming shit about me. Like I said, I go on the internet to find out about myself. And yes, that is a joke. Like, people on the internet don't fucking know me. And maybe there's one person from my past, maybe one person from my past that knew me. But again, they knew that version of me. That version of me, I had to let it go. Because now I know what I want, and I'm getting it. I have what I want. I know what it is. So, and I'm not gonna put up with bullshit. So, so for the people that are still holding on and are still in the friend circle, you're putting yourselves in the positions that you're gonna be in. I'm done trying to fit people into a mold or into a shape that's not them. I'm just gonna let people fucking put themselves where they belong, and I'm gonna go with it.
Mm-hmm. I have one last thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that you had said coincidence correctly.
No, it's a coincidence that I have an issue with. I can say coincidence and sentence.
Oh my gosh.
No. I can say, wait, no, see, I can't say it no more. Fuck.
But you did say it correctly.
Yes. Coincidence and what's the other one? Damn it.
There was two of them. I don't remember. That
Acquaintance.
Acquaintance.
Oh my god. Acquaintance.
You're fucking us all up all over again.
Yeah, I'm all fucked up. Man, that day I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't even breathe. Because the first time I tried to say it, I was like, wait, am I even saying it right? Then I started saying it all fucked up. But yeah, coincidences.
Coincidence.
I'm sorry, baby, that it feels like coincidences. I took over your show. We didn't get to talk about the topic.
It's perfectly fine. Would you like to join me tomorrow in tomorrow's episode to talk about the rituals?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys gotta tune back in tomorrow so we can talk about relationship rituals.
Yeah.
So you're gonna join me, right?
Yes.
Come here, baby. Give me a hug.
I will be there this weekend. So I will be there this weekend.
Yes. Well, thank you, babe, for joining me on a panel, and I'm glad that we talked about it, not just on the cast, but one-on-one.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yes, baby.
Thank you for understanding and letting me take over your show.
Anytime, babe, and I mean that. Yes. Well, thank you, everyone that has tuned in to the live stream. And if you're listening to this on the playback, don't forget to add, rate, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. And we will talk to you guys in tomorrow's live stream tomorrow, right here on the Why Run podcast. So, don't be late. And we were hella late.
Yes, we were.
But yes. Yes. Well, I got tired as shit. And we had things to do. But hopefully we'll see you guys back here hopefully tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. Arizona Standard Mountain Time. And if you guys follow me on twitter.com/Miss DJ Hoodie, you will get the notifications of when we are gonna go live. And you can check us out on the Twitch or on the YouTube. Just search Miss DJ Hoodie, MSDJHOODIE. And we'll see you guys on both platforms. Have a nice night. Peace.
Peace. Wonderful.